In this video, I'm going to be talking about what it was like working in Thailand and Dubai as a contractor in the UK and what would I recommend. I spent all of March in Asia between Singapore, Thailand and Dubai. If you can work remote, which I did, I was contracting, a lot of people can actually do this. I could have done this much earlier, but I didn't. Not entirely sure why, and I should have because it was a great experience and I had a lot of fun. It's not as expensive as I expected and it is very possible. People can do this. So I was in Thailand first. How was Thailand? What was the lifestyle like? I loved it. Oh, I loved it. I could live in Thailand. The weather was lovely. It was like 32 degrees. I think maybe on a hotter day it would be 34, but it was kind of reasonable. It was great for activities. I actually do Muay Thai in the UK, which is one of the reasons I went to Thailand in the first place. So for me, it was brilliant because I had a physical activity that I liked doing as well as the work. I liked that there was not a lot of pressure to deal with the heat. So I'm from the UK, which is always cold. At 30 degrees for us is like, whoa, that's crazy. And it's not necessarily that the heat was too much in Thailand, it's that if I wear too much clothing, you sweat so much. I do, at least, coming from the UK. But the great thing about it, it's so informal over there, at least where I was staying, the island of Phuket. I could just get around in a vest and some slides and it was normal. So it made it a lot easier for me getting acclimatized to the heat. Cost of living is super affordable. There's a lot of people that sell food, whether that's like restaurants or stores. And as such, I think because there's so much supply of services like food, it drives the cost down quite a bit. It wasn't great for the GMT time zone, which is where I work. One thing with working remote that you might overlook, which I did at first, is that the time zone will be different. I'm contracting, which means between 9 to 5, I'm expected to take calls and be active. But because I was in Thailand, that meant at 4 p.m. I start and I finish at 12, which I like early nights, so it wasn't nice. But on the flip side, I had the mornings to myself. I'd wake up, I'd go to the Muay Thai gym. Again, cost of living was quite cheap, so I managed to get a personal trainer. I wasn't there for long. I just had one-on-one sessions, which was great. Then after, you go to the beach, you get some food, and then you start your work. So for me, that was great. I got the physical side and the mental side. The initial place that I got in Thailand was right by the beach, had a pool, seemed lovely. I think it was $350 for the week, which good price. And I got there and the room stank and the doors wouldn't close properly. There was just so many issues with it. The main thing that was the problem is I went to Thailand to actually do work. I wasn't there to party. I didn't go to any clubs. But I was next to the beach. There was a party beach, which I didn't know. The reviews and Airbnb didn't say this, but at 2 a.m. I could hear music being played, and every now and then a car would go by being very loud, bumping music. I couldn't live like that. I rage quit. I looked on Airbnb at 2 a.m. the first night I was there, and I just found another place, checked the reviews, said it was quiet, and I just booked it. It was a bit expensive. I think in my anger, I just went overboard, and it ended up working out to like $1,000 for the week. But it was amazing, though, I'll be honest, like I don't miss that money. I actually sent one of my friends a video the next day. I was messaging him, I was like, yo, I'm just gonna book this new place, but it's kind of expensive. This is the only clip I have of the interior of the new flat. King, I'm not gonna lie, I think I went a bit too far. I didn't actually know it was this big. I mean, I had an inkling, but it's a bit, I think this is the master bedroom. I guess I have a jacuzzi, which is kind of cool. It was hinted at, he didn't put it in the description. Maybe it doesn't work, I don't know, we'll find out. That's the shower. And then there's like another room. I think it was for a family, and it's just like the main room and then 2 kid rooms or whatever. And it's a bit silly now I'm thinking about it, bro. It's a bit naughty. There's a lot. Oh, okay, so there's another bathroom. Yeah, okay. I don't know which one I prefer, actually. Don't know where I'm gonna do my business, mate. Yeah, I realized it was a bit of a needless expenditure. But yeah, had fun, whatever. That is what $1,000 for like a week would get you. Maybe like 9 days, a little bit longer. Food is cheaper than drink often. A meal and a drink could be like 150 to 300 baht, and I think 300 baht works out to £7, which is like $8. But that would be like a full meal though. Very tasty, really nice in a restaurant. Transport is just as cheap, and then especially if you're getting food or drink from stores near the beach or something that's not as formal as a restaurant, it could be on the cheaper side, like 150, which is like £4. I had a really great time, loved the culture and how friendly everyone was, really easy, and there's lots of places where you can get Wi-Fi. All the flats that I booked had it, and there are cafes. Now let's switch to Dubai. How was the lifestyle? Amenities are fantastic. I will give Dubai that. Everything is new, very clean. The people really take a pride in the city, which is nice. foot transport is a little bit awkward. So you either walk on foot somewhere and the whole path is like AC'd and really nice, or you have to drive. It's weird. Food was amazing, really good quality for all the takeaways and restaurants we went to. Everything was prepared very well. I think similar to how the amenities are great, the food was also taken with a lot of care. Good quality. Every hotel really has like a gym and a pool. People are big on fitness there. When I was there, it wasn't too hot. It was maybe like 26 to 28 degrees, which coming from Thailand, I felt a little bit colder. But I know in the summer it gets crazy, like 45. The time zone was better for me in Dubai, so I started at 12 instead of 4, which is not bad, and I think I finished at 9, so that worked out quite well. There are so many places to work. There are loads of cafes. It's very easy to just pick a spot and work from. A lot of people in Dubai are expats or working digitally, so the city is kind of built for this. Easier to work on beaches too, which I really enjoyed. Some weekends I would spend time at a beach and there'd be like a bar near there with proper seats and tables. I felt Thailand, or where I was in Phuket, was a little bit more for holidays, and as such you didn't have the setup to do that. But Dubai was really good for being able to work in a nice, pleasant environment. Now, Dubai is not crazy expensive. I live in London, so I'm very biased. You're not really gonna find many places more expensive than London, maybe New York. I'd say food options were like 80% of what I would normally find in London. So a takeaway for myself and my girl, there was like 25 there. I think in London it'd be like 32, something like that. The flat we stayed in was really nice, and I think it was around 100 a day, and that was in downtown, so not bad. And then we moved to a different flat a little bit further out for the other days, and I think that came to a similar price, maybe like 90 a day. Dubai really though is expensive as you'd like it to be. Kind of similar to London before the cost of living crisis. A lot of people say it is expensive and it's a rip-off. And it is, but you kind of decide how much you get ripped off. If you want to be expensive, there is no limit. You can find it. However, if you want to live within your means or find reasonable options, there are plenty of those as well. So in Dubai, I didn't find it too expensive. In conclusion, there are two completely different places. I did, however, prefer Thailand. The time zone obviously did have an effect. It was a little bit tricky for me working there, but it meant that I got to do my mornings and I was a little bit more physical. So I think the lifestyle suited me better. If you're curious to go, dude, you can go. As long as you work remote and you can work digitally, you don't have to be in the office. There's no reason you have to be where you are. To a degree, it requires some privilege because especially if you're renting where you're from, if you go somewhere new, you're paying 2 rents and not everyone can do that. However, the cost of living in a lot of places, especially if you're from England, the currency conversion works so well, it's actually much cheaper to live somewhere else. If you can fork out the double rent, or if you can rent your room when you go somewhere else, it's not too expensive overall, and it's just great. Even if it does take money, like I'd recommend see what you think. I really enjoy it, and I wish I did it earlier. Most people that do it go, oh, I should have done it earlier. Yeah, a little bit of an informal video, but just wanted to put that out there. If you're thinking about making the leap, this is God telling you or something. Thank you for reaching the end of the video. Bye guys.